Hello and welcome to Hildegard's Subtlety Rogue Macro and Keybind Guide. First, let me explain the mechanic of rogue stances. Subtlety rogues have 3 stances. Stance 0 is not stealthed, Stance 1 is stealthed and vanish, Stance 3 is shadow dance. It's possible to use macros that use abilities based on stances. Which means you can, for example, make a macro fire backstab while in stance 0 and ambush in stance 1 and 3. Now we have an issue with stance 1 and stance 3. If you use the talent subterfuge, you remain in stealth for 3 more seconds, which is stance 1. But if you trigger shadow dance, during that time you should also be in stance 3. Another example. When you use shadow dance, you trigger stance 3. If you then use vanish, which is stance 1, you have 2 simultaneous stances as well. So how does the UI handle this? The answer is, you remain in the stance you have been in first. Means if you use shadow dance during subterfuge, you remain in stance 1 until subterfuge fades. If you vanish during shadow dance, you remain in stance 3 until shadow dance fades. With that in mind, we can essentially say that using different abilities for stance 1 and stance 3 is not a good choice. So let's find skills you will never use during stealth and shadow dance. If you find some, we can use the same binds as for skills that only work while stealth or during dance. The obvious example, of course, is backstab. There's simply no reason to ever use backstab over ambush during stealth or shadow dance. This is why the following macro you can see on the screen is probably the most used stance macro. This macro will get more complex later on, but for now let's just leave it like this. The next obvious choice is stealth. While you are stealth, you don't want to re-enter it. You will find more abilities over time that you can put into stance macros. In this example on the screen you can see that I use cheap shot on the same bind as stealth, because I never want to cheap shot if I'm not stealth, because I simply can't, and I don't want to stealth while I'm in stance 1 or in stance 3. Now that we've seen how stances work, we can go on to the next part. What do we actually need? We will end up with more than 60 binds to play a subtlety rogue properly. The absolute basics are move forward, strafe left, strafe right, hemorrhage, backstab, vanish, stealth, shift, gouge, kidney shot, redirect, throw, shuriken toss, Eurasial, your trinket or everyman himself from humans, your unused trinket, blind, smoke bomb, tricks of the trade, preparation, shadow step, dismantle, cheap shot, ambush, stab, garrote, shadow dance, kick, comet readiness, shadow walk, shroud of concealment, rupture, slice and dice, recuperate, feign, shadow plates, sprint and whisk rates. These are, I think, 37 binds, maybe I forgot 1 or 2, but you get the point. Now let's assume you want focus binds for your most important spells. Focus blind, kick, gouge, sap, dismantle, redirect, shadow step and shift. We are already at 45 binds. Now if we add some targeting macros to force you not to click on field or on Gladius, we have target arena 1, 2, 3 and focus arena 1, 2, 3. And we already have 51 binds and are far from finished. So there are some macros you obviously want. You want a sap macro to search for enemy rogues and druids. 1. You want tricks macros for both of your team members. 2 more binds. You want probably arena 1 to 3 for blind. 3 more binds. You want to fire your engineering gloves if you're an engineer. And if you use shadow step, you want macros to shadow step to your partner number 1 and partner number 2. Now we are already at 60 keybinds. Now there is this thing with shadow dance. Really fast likes like Nelio tend to bind direct dance macros that use cheap shot or garrote without delay when triggering dance. You can use a macro to dance into garrote, to dance into ambush, to dance into sap, to dance into cheap shot. And of course for focus. Dance, focus, garrote, dance, focus, sap, dance, focus, cheap shot. And now we are already at 67 binds. Maybe you want a bind for distract or for bandages, maybe even your mount or to target the side kingdom the enemy team. There might also be this or that additional macro if you want multiple talents to work. We already did this with preparation and stab, as they will be used both in patch 5.2, but for example Deadly Throw or Burst of Speed and your battle standard for RPGs. Let's say all in all you can go up to 70 keybinds. To decrease the number of binds, combine them. If you use direct dance macros, you can save the bind for shadow dance. If you create a burst macro, you can combine the unused trinket and the engineering clothes with the direct dance ambush macro. What I found useful too is using premeditation on the same bind as slice and dice in stealth. You simply press the button twice to use premed slice and dice before opening. In the next video, I will show you how to define binds that work for nearly 70 individual skills or macros to trigger.